Hey friends, I hope you're all doing well. I chose this cotton candy hello because I was thinking about our cotton candy party and how much fun we had. Okay, we're gonna get started with some reading. All right, this week we're gonna be retelling stories using our five finger retell. Now I know we've practiced that some, but we're gonna enhance it a little bit. So this week we're gonna be working with characters, your setting, a problem. No, we haven't talked about that before. The events in the story. So this finger is where we'll do our beginning, middle, and end, and a solution. So I'm going to go over each one of those just to kind of refresh our memory. So first, we have characters. Characters are the people in the story. I'm going to give you examples using the story that we all know of the Three Little Pigs. So the characters in the Three Little Pigs, of course, were the three pigs and the big bad wolf over here. All right, those were your main characters. So that's going to be your first finger, like your thumb. Your second finger, which would be your index finger, is going to be your setting. Your setting is where the story takes place. And the Three Little Pigs, the setting was their three homes. You could say outside, but we want to try to be a little bit more specific. And then we could say, oh, it was in the straw house, the stick house, and the brick house. That would be very specific to that story. Your next finger, which would be your middle finger, would tell your problem. Your problem is what is causing the character trouble. Well, what was causing the characters, the Three Little Pigs, some trouble in the Three Little Pigs was that big bad wolf coming along trying to blow down their house. And that's very problematic. You don't want your house to be blown down. Your next finger, that will be your ring finger, is where you're going to tell the beginning, the middle, and end. And that's just the most important events that happen in the story. Now, if you didn't want to list all three of those, beginning, middle, and end, you could use the word plot. Plot means the most important things that happen throughout the story. It's the events that happen in the story. And the Three Little Pigs are plot, or our beginning, middle, end. Well, the beginning, the mommy said bye, the Three Little Pigs went out and they started building their house. In the middle, our big bad wolf was coming along and he was blowing houses down. He blew the straw house down and he blew the stick house down. But then at the end, he came to where they had all hidden in the brick house where the little piggy had built the brick house. And he tried to blow it down and he couldn't, so he tried to go through the chimney and he got into that big pot of stew. And then our story was over. Finally, we have our solution. Our solution would go on our pinky finger and it would just tell us how the problem is solved. And we know in the Three Little Pigs, the problem was solved by that big bad wolf going in that pot of stew when he thought he was going to go just down the chimney. So now we're going to try to practice one of those together. So I'm going to read to you a story. It's going to play a video, but as the video is playing, I'm going to read it to you. And I want you guys to go through and we're going to figure out our five finger retell after we've listened to the story. So I'm going to hit play. We're going to be listening to Chicken Little. Oh, a little cozy nook. That's the name of the people who made this story. Ah. Alright, so it says turn on the captions to read along. I did that. One fine morning, Chicken Little went out to the woods. As she walked along, an acorn fell on her head. Chicken Little was a silly little chicken, and she often made silly mistakes. Chicken Little thought the acorn was a part of the sky. Chicken Little was so caught by surprise that she worked herself into a tizzy. "Oh, dear me!" she cried. "The sky is falling! I must go and tell the king." On her way to see the king, Chicken Little met Henny Penny. "Henny Penny, the sky is falling!" cried Chicken Little. "How do you know?" asked Henny Penny. "A piece of it fell on my poor head," said Chicken Little, rubbing her poor little noggin with the memory of it. "Then let us go tell the king," said Henny Penny, who now felt quite worried as well. So Henny Penny and Chicken Little ran along until they met Goosey Lucy. "Goosey Lucy, the sky is falling!" cried Henny Penny. "How do you know?" asked Goosey Lucy. "A piece of it fell on my poor head," said Chicken Little. Goosey Lucy looked at Henny Penny, who nodded in agreement. "Then let us go tell the king," said Goosey Lucy, who could not help but believe her friends. So Goosey Lucy, Henny Penny, and Chicken Little hurried along until they met Ducky Lucky. "Ducky Lucky, the sky is falling!" cried Goosey Lucy. "How do you know?" asked Ducky Lucky. "A piece of it fell on my poor head," said Chicken Little. Henny Penny and Goosey Lucy stood nodding their heads wide-eyed next to Chicken Little. Ducky Lucky looked at her three friends and became worried because they were so worried. "Then let us go and tell the king," said Ducky Lucky. So Ducky Lucky, Goosey Lucy, Henny Penny, and Chicken Little ran along until they met Turkey Lurkey, who was certainly the biggest of the birds. "Turkey Lurkey, the sky is falling!" cried Ducky Lucky. "How do you know?" asked Turkey Lurkey. "A piece of it fell on my poor head," said Chicken Little. Henny Penny, Goosey Lucy, and Ducky Lucky stood behind Chicken Little, flapping their wings with worry. "Then let us go tell the king," said Turkey Lurkey, for who was he to disagree with four scared friends? So the five feathered friends ran along until they met Foxy Loxy. "Foxy Loxy, the sky is falling!" cried Turkey Lurkey. "Oh, is that so?" said the sly Foxy Loxy, who knew better, but pretended to believe. The five trembling birds. "If the sky is falling, you better keep safe in my den, and I will go tell the king for you." So Chicken Little, Henny Penny, Goosey Lucy, Ducky Lucky, and Turkey Lurkey followed Foxy Loxy into his den. The dust in the den made Chicken Little sneeze. Achoo! The force of the sneeze made Chicken Little come back to her senses. "Wait!" cried Chicken Little. "Birds are supposed to stay away from foxes." Henny Penny, Goosey Lucy, Ducky Lucky, and Turkey Lurkey looked at each other in amazement. "You are right," they cried. And so the five feathered friends ran out of the cave and never went back there again. And from that day on, they thought very carefully before believing that the sky was falling again. The end. What a cool little story. What do you think? Would you have believed Chicken Little if she came and told you that the sky was falling? I don't know if I would have. So let's talk about those things. Who was our main character? Who was the most important, the main character throughout the whole story? Chicken Little, of course. Yeah, she was the one going to tell all of her friends that a piece of the sky had fallen on her head. Where is the setting? You would have had to pay close attention to the pictures for this one. The setting was actually at some kind of farm. All of those animals would be animals that you would find on a farm, and I noticed a barn in the background in one of my pictures. What's the problem? The problem is Chicken Little thinks the sky is falling, and she believes it so much that she almost tricks herself and all her friends into going into Foxy Loxy's den and possibly even getting eaten. The beginning, middle, and end. Well, what happened at the beginning of the story? At the beginning of the story, Chicken Little thought that an acorn was the sky falling on her head. In the middle, she went through and told all of her friends that a sky was falling, and she even told Foxy Loxy, and almost got tricked into going into his den. At the end of the story, she realizes that she had made a silly mistake, and she decides that she's going to think harder about things before she runs and go tells her friends. What was the solution? So we said that the problem was that Chicken Little thought the sky was falling and it almost gotten her eaten. Solution was she had a big sneeze, achoo, that brought her back to her senses. So that is how you would retell a story. I hope that as you guys are reading stories with your parents, you're trying to do a 5-finger retell as well. I can't wait to meet you guys in our small groups where we go over this again. We listen to another story and we try to retell that one as well. Okay, guys, see you later.